All signs are pointing towards a potentially snowy February, and this is not a joke. We're actually looking at some models here to prove it. And as you can see, it's looking like it could include parts of the East Coast with some heavier snowfall events. In this video, I've got the full 10-minute pattern breakdown, so everything you want to know right here. On a weather bell free trial, those are the maps we're looking at. You can get the link for that in the description. We've got a winter storm wrapping up along the East Coast here to finish the weekend. Hope everybody's having a great start to the week here as, again, this event wrapping on up there over parts of southern New England especially. Some snow finishing off this event into Boston, but we talked about it in the last video. We're obviously going to begin to focus on the upcoming pattern next, and it's really going to be pretty tame as we head through the middle of this week. It's once we get right into the start of February when things are really going to begin to pick on up. You can see that here as we get into the very last days of January here as we go into Tuesday, January 30th. In the morning, we've got a little clipper system moving through parts of the Midwest, as well as parts of the Great Lakes, maybe a little bit of light snowfall there into parts of Michigan out of that as well. Could we get a couple of inches into parts of Michigan, even towards Detroit? Yes. Overall, though, look at this system. It's pretty much rain as it makes its way through the Ohio Valley and into parts of even southern Appalachia, really looking like this is going to be a rain event. The only places that are going to get some snowfall is the very highest elevations of Appalachia. Otherwise, you can see this system pretty much degrading as we make our way into the Wednesday, January 31st time frame, with just some light to moderate rain over parts of the Carolinas and maybe eastern Virginia as well. And then we kind of reset everything here, and then as we go into the first day of February, look at this Wednesday overnight into our Thursday. It's really looking like rain's going to pick on up there over parts of the atmospheric river zone there on the west coast, but we're going to see the polar jet stream dip down a little bit there in the east, and this could set the stage for some cooler air to dip on down closer to the southeast coast as well. Notice atmospheric river continues Thursday night into our Friday. I think this is going to bring very heavy precipitation there. We'll also be seeing at least a little bit of light precipitation, maybe some interior New England snow there into the east at this same time as we head towards the end of this week. Again, nothing huge going on. In fact, really the most activity is going to be back on off towards the west again with an atmospheric river, very heavy snow as well then into the Rockies. Looks like this could form some sort of central United States storm as we make our way in towards our Saturday at 1 p.m. on your February 3rd here. Again, this is just a model scenario here. This is not, the gospel or anything. And then as you can see, as I continue to play this out, as we make our way into our Sunday now, looking like we'll still be seeing that system kind of sprawl on out. But what we're looking for here is to see if this storm, as it kind of heads on off towards the east a little bit more, you can see that into your Sunday night, into your Monday, will it be able to phase with a piece of northern stream jet energy here? And if it does so, that could mean the pieces would come together for a snowstorm there, even further south here into parts of the southeastern United States in some zones that have not seen snow yet. But again, that's all kind of dependent here on this polar jet stream as it dives on down, and we're going to take a little bit more of an in-depth look in just a second. But if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, please consider hitting that button for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasting. Now here we go back on over now to some maps, and we're looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook here. So this is as we make our way into our February, and as you can see, cooler than average along the west coast with atmospheric rivers, cooler than average there in the southeastern United States, favorable for the little Atlantic systems that kind of ride the coast and then could see that wraparound flow bring that snow there up the coast. Warmer than average though, with kind of a high pressure blocking pattern there over the north central. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the precipitation type and rate with the GEFS ensembles, and what this is going to do for us here is kind of give us a look at the pattern. But what we're looking at here is a collection of 30 models showing us what's actually going on here, and you can see again, into the west, as we make our way towards the end of this week, it's going to be very active with an atmospheric river. Looks like our heaviest precipitation is going to get going with a new system into the plains as we go into our Saturday. Again, back into the Four Corners, some snow, a little bit of rain, and especially heavier rain down there into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. The deeper the shades of green or blue, that's where there's higher confidence in some snowfall coming down. But look at how as this, this whole piece of energy heads east, looks like we're going to have a pretty strong low pressure system there into the Gulf. This could bring a couple areas where we could be seeing some snow there into parts of the south, including parts of Arkansas, then on over there into the Carolinas, maybe some snow as far north as the Ohio Valley if this is a stronger system. But I mean, considering the fact that we're 8 days out and there's a 999 millibar low pretty much being indicated here, which is below 1,000 millibars, that's a strong low pressure system. This is very much so a worthwhile low to keep our eye on as it kind of treks its way to the east here. And again, this collection of a bunch of models surrounding the GFS especially, and this has been a little bit more of the bullish set, okay? So the euro not quite as jumpy on this, the EPS ensembles not quite as jumpy on this whole thing, and if you don't know what those are, and just know that some other models with the European side of things, not the American-created models here, that one, and it can be quite accurate at times, it is not showing as much in the way of snowfall here, and again, this is why we're just kind of looking at averages now, and even those are not very certain. So again, we're looking far away, and we're not seeing a huge signal, but what we are seeing is a system, and if it can phase with northern stream energy, then that does kind of increase the chance for a snowstorm further south than what we've been seeing so far, and maybe, you know, a heavier event for some other areas as well. Here's your chance of 1 inch of snow in 24 hours with the GEFS ensembles here, again, as we go Sunday into Monday, February the 4th into the 5th. The highest chance is going to be 20 to 40% there over the western Carolinas at this point. And again, this is just looking at what we saw earlier today. These ensembles can change a million times before we get to this event. Okay, not really, but you get the point. There's a lot of changes that can still occur, but it does look like, again, the pieces are there. But will they merge? That's the question as we head to that point. But let's talk about some stuff we do know is going on, and we know that warmer than average air is building over the north central United States with that blocking high pressure system. Here we go as we head our way into our Tuesday of this week, a little cooler than average over the southeast by about 5 to 10 degrees. That includes the northeast as well. These anomalies making it 20, 30, 40 degrees above normal there in the far northern United States, and you're really going to notice those reds pop on out at you here in just a second as we make our way into our Wednesday, especially. Look at this by Wednesday afternoon. Some of those deeper red shades there in the Dakotas and Minnesota, indicating where temperatures could be upwards of 35 degrees above normal. This is some real deal warmth. Now again, it's still going to be warmer than you are in the Dakotas if you go down to Texas, but the anomaly is a lot bigger there up further to the north. So just keep that in mind here. We continue to see that warmth really stay over most of the country as we head through the middle to end of this week. But with that atmospheric river impacting the west, notice how some of those blues and greens fill on in there, 5 to 10 degrees below normal, being the trend in parts of the southwestern United corridor as well. And then here as we go further in time into this weekend, notice we get a little bit, I think there's going to be a little clipper or cold front-like system that tries to make its way through parts of the interior northeast as we head towards Saturday-ish time frame, Friday into Saturday. That could bring down just enough cool air to kind of set the stage for, again, whatever's going on out here in the west with a high-pressure system to the north. That's why I'm circling this zone, and again, that's why we're kind of still monitoring the potential as we head towards the end of this upcoming weekend and the next week for a little winter storm there along the east coast. But for now, let's take a look at those temperatures on the ground with the European model. As of your Monday afternoon, here's what we're looking at: some 60s, some 70s filling in there over parts of Texas, especially south and central Texas there, getting in on some 70s. But look at this narrow quarter. Anywhere you're seeing those yellows filling in, it's about 55 to 60 degrees at least. It's parts of the high plains getting quite warm there on your Monday afternoon as well. The southwestern corridor, especially close to the coast there in California, Oregon, Washington as well, warming up quite nicely into the 70s as well. You can see that warmth in the afternoons here. And again, even some of these deeper blue colors that you see there in the Dakotas, that's you're warming up in the 40s and 50s. And again, this is very anomalously warm for this time of the year. Should be closer to freezing in the afternoons at this point because, you know, we're still exiting January going into February. Again, warmer air though still than those areas, just not as anomalously warm there close to the south central and the southwest. Here we go again, looking at your Wednesday afternoon temperatures. We might try to get close to 60 degrees there in the parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri, all these zones. It's going to get very close in some parts of the western parts of those states, especially. Some zones there in Texas and Oklahoma might try to push towards 75 degrees at that point as well. But again, the point with all this is that we're looking at much warmer than average air building over a lot of the country. And, you know, you can continue to see, even as we head into February, looking like it's going to be quite warm there, especially over Texas with 70s or near the 70s at least lingering around in that zone. Now, what we also want to look at here is longer-term temperature anomaly trends. What's it going to look like once we get past the first week of February? Because, you know, we're talking about a ridge still here. So as we go the 5th through the 12th of February, it's looking warmer than average over the north central United States. But the colder air continues to bank on it from the west. It's probably going to be a very active month, or start to the month at least, in the west. But look at this as we go February, say 12th through 19th here. This very cold anomaly is really showing up on these European weeklies here, those distant ensembles. And, you know, again, this is a collection of models. This is the Euro, pretty reliable source, right? If you're trying to cite a paper and you're looking for that reliable source, you're looking for the Euro or the GFS ensembles, right? In this case, you're looking at those Euro ensembles, and colder than average air is filling in over the eastern United States and most of the United States, really, as we go through the middle to back half of February, and that could be our real deal in a longer term, kind of more extended period where we could see enough cold air in place to get some winter storms. So again, I don't think winter is anywhere near done. And if you want to stick with me through it, please hit that subscribe button, as I mentioned earlier, for those accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasts. I've got a link in the description for WeatherBell. You can get your free trial by clicking that link. Credits are on your screen right now. I've also got an extra channel, which is ONW Begun. The link to that is also going to be in the description. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.